The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As we see the November inflation report prints at 7.1% lower than expected. Inflation is going down. We were on a trajectory earlier this year to go past 10%, but now we're close to 7%. This is absolutely excellent, as the perception in the market is looking up. The stock market has risen. Bitcoin and Ethereum have risen as well off this news. And it's very possible that we could begin to see the Fed pivot as far as rate hikes are concerned. With the increasing of inflation coming back to the market with the pausing of interest rate hikes, that'll be massive. There may be one more increase before a pivot, or at the very least a halt is necessary. But I'm cautiously optimistic that the macro is going to begin to change to favor the crypto market. The DXY is losing strength, meaning the US dollar is losing strength. And that's great for risk-on assets, especially for things like crypto that have done nothing but go down in a straight line all of 2022. 2022 has been a horrendous year for crypto investors. But what I have to say to all of you is, things are beginning to look up. We see that the fallout of FTX is beginning to see some justice, as Sam Bankman-Fried has officially been arrested by the Royal Bahamian Police. This is important, as I also believe he's going to testify in front of Maxine Waters, answering questions about what exactly happened. And while I'm cautiously optimistic that justice will be served, we cannot trust anything going on right now. The reason is because these politicians did get paid off by SBF. Maxine Waters, as opposed to serving a subpoena, asked politely to the biggest con man in crypto history for him to just come in and talk as if he's not a criminal. Ladies and gentlemen, what's being uncovered about your favorite politicians is absolutely sinister. We see right here that Gary Gensler had always known from the beginning that FTX was fraudulent. This is egregious, considering he had more meetings with Sam Bankman-Fried than anyone else in the crypto market to discuss a crypto regulatory framework designed to benefit FTX alone. And something tells me SBF's high-level Democratic connections, and Gary's as well, were part of the reason Gary was trying to favor him. At the exact same time, from Eleanor to Rhett, we see that Gary Gensler had two different calendars, a public one and a private one, where he had high-level meetings with Soros and Clinton, potentially even more people. What I want to know is, why is a public official that's on a taxpayer's salary hiding the meetings he's having? I can almost guarantee you it's to discuss the conflicts of interest that's destroying American wealth and American innovation as we speak. Gary does not deserve to regulate us, and I think he's going out the door. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to take a pivot to look at the overall geopolitical events that are going on today. Right now, the other day we saw that Nigeria was limiting cash withdrawals to incentivize a digital currency. Spain is trialing their central bank digital currency. Brazil today states that their CBDC will go live in 2024. And here Australia is showing a clip of social credit to access the internet via your digital ID. And citizens need 100 points of identification to use social media. This is what's coming to the world. And regardless about how you feel about it, it's happening in real time.
A radical plan to crack down on social media abuse is being considered by the federal government. For more, Nine's Oliver Haig joins us live in Adelaide. Ollie, how will it work?
Layla, good morning. Essentially, it will work the same as a passport. Australians forced to submit 100 points of identification, like their driver's licence or passport, when using social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. Now, police would have access to those social media accounts, and it's all part of a crackdown on online abuse. Now, users could be liable for defamation suits or even criminal prosecution, and it's all part of a plan hoping to deter people from engaging in bad behaviour. Now, the recommendations were handed down by a federal parliamentary inquiry. They're reforms that are being considered by the Morrison government, with the chairman saying there is merit to remove the veil of being anonymous. Layla?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is something all of you need to understand. China is ground zero for central bank digital currencies and the Great Reset for the future of the financial system. Digital currencies are what are coming to the world. Central bank digital currencies are about to be adopted globally. The initial rollout is taking place in real time, and it is not a coincidence that the potential end of this Ripple XRP case is coming to an end as CBDCs are launching. XRP will be the digital infrastructure for CBDC adoption, accompanied with numerous other digital assets. But China is ahead of the game. They are the trial run for what's going to happen for the rest of the world. And we need to understand that China's alliance with Saudi Arabia signals a shift in the new world order. I told you the power structure is changing from west to east. And what happened the other day with Saudi Arabia putting on an extravagant performance for China's arrival cannot be understated.
Two separate visits to Saudi Arabia, just a few months apart, couldn't have been more different. When US President Joe Biden arrived in the kingdom back in July, the mood was somber, with less pageantry than his predecessor had received. And Biden's visit paled in comparison to the lavish welcoming ceremony Chinese President Xi Jinping was given after arriving in Riyadh on Wednesday for a 3-day visit. On just his third foreign trip since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic 3 years ago, Chinese President Xi met both the Saudi king and crown prince. The two countries earlier had signed dozens of deals for $30 billion covering green energy, technology, and construction. Xi later attended a specially arranged summit with Arab and Gulf leaders, which China's foreign ministry described as an epoch-making milestone. China, which is Saudi Arabia's largest trade partner, also counts the kingdom as its biggest supplier of oil. Beijing is also increasing its security ties with Riyadh, a role that Washington has played for decades. So is China working to become the new dominant player in the Gulf, and how will the U.S. respond?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, something else I want to add for a little more context is that Saudi Arabia quite literally put on an extravagant performance for China when they arrived. And then the arrival of Joe Biden was greeted with a little fist bump. That is what Saudi Arabia, the largest oil producer in the world, thinks of us. Saudi Arabia is also going to begin sales of their oil in the yuan. And this is important as China is going to boost the role of the yuan and end the United States petrodollar monopoly. But now I need to take you back to when Saudi Arabia was president of the G20. They talked a lot about the digital economy and regulating a global stablecoin. The world is going to change. Global trade is going to change. And back when Trump was president, he had initiated a lot of different trade deals. And this is just my speculation, but I believe he positioned the United States to be able to take part in the reset of the global economy, with XRP being the #1 asset we still have left. The US and the US dollar is collapsing. We're going to come back to the mean quite a bit once this global reset takes place. And it's a firm warning to everyone. The BRICS nations is rising, and a new currency is forming. I speculate and believe XRP will be the global bridge asset, the neutral bridge asset to bring stability to global markets. And here, Jim Rickards is talking about the rise of the BRICS nations and how a reset in the world's payment currency is coming very, very soon.
The dollar as a reserve currency will not be deposed overnight, but as a payment currency, there's a difference between a reserve currency and a payment currency.
Right.
Anything can be a payment currency. If I want to pay you with baseball cards and bottle caps, and you're okay with that, then it's a currency. So when we see the BRICS Plus, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, OPEC Plus, China individually, all these countries are the Eurasian Economic Union, which is Putin's answer to the EU. All of these organizations are working on new payment systems right now, and they're going to start to roll them out this year and later. So that's going to be a radical change in how we pay for things.
Ladies and gentlemen, a radical change is coming to the way we pay for things. CBDCs are coming. XRP is coming. And I'm going to leave you with this firm warning. Central bank digital currencies are slavery. There is no doubt in my mind about that. I've always known as an XRP investor and an XRP content creator, there was going to be a point where, despite my support for telling you about XRP being the best digital asset to make generational wealth, it'll also be the asset that'll lay the foundation for the enslavement of man. No doubt in my mind, CBDCs are evil. They will come with expiration dates. They will come with social credit scores. They will come with mandates, UBI, numerous other things that are not pro-humanity. China reveals the digital yuan will have an expiration date where people will be forced to spend and not allowed to save. The end of sovereign wealth is coming to a country near you. Pay close attention to what's going on in China. Make as much money as you can with XRP to try and free yourself before the enslavement of man arrives. And there will be a moment where we'll all have to take a stand. The most volatile times in human history are coming very soon, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you're awake enough to have the eyes to see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing pricing for their carbon credit solution, XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple, who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America. Ripple, who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve. Ripple, a former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division. Ripple, leading Australia's CBDC effort. Ripple, who hired a former Treasury of the United States. Ripple, 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board. Ripple, 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, and former SEC chair on their legal team. Ripple, who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payment Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website. Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.